Okay, so today we are going to kind of just talk about character types, the different types of characters that you see throughout any kind of novel, any kind of book. Sorry, shut that off. And so I just want you to pay attention to these terms, and then you're going to think about the characters in Freak the Mighty and figure out what type of character they are based off of this terminology. So, different types of characters. The first one is dynamic characters. These are the characters who go through a personality change due to the events in the story. So they change, they're dynamic. They go through some kind of personal change because of what happened in the story. Static characters is one whose personality does not change throughout the story. So the big difference is their change. If there's change in the character, then they are a dynamic character. If there's not change, they are static. Round characters. So a round character is one whose personality, background, motives, and other features are fully described or explained by the author. In general, main characters are round because many insights are given. So we know a lot about the characters. We know what makes them tick. We know their personality. We have background on them. So, characters that we know a lot about, those are called round characters. The opposite is called a flat character. Okay, flat characters are ones who are not fully described, but is useful in carrying out some of the narrative purpose for the author. They tend to be minor characters. So we have some description of them, but in general, it's not described as well as round characters. In most books, the main character is going to be both dynamic and round, meaning that they go through some kind of change and they're also fully described. We understand who they are. Characters can be round and static. For example, think about the character James Bond. We all know James Bond, right? Okay. We know a great deal about this character's personality, which means that he's a round character. We know a lot. Yet he does not go through an inner personality change from the beginning up to the end of the story. James Bond is just James Bond. He doesn't really change. He's just this awesome spy, okay, that gets things done. So he's static. There is no change with him. Often the sidekick is of the story is round and static. So most of the time you're going to see the lesser character be the round and static one. But there are cases like James Bond where you will see a round and static character. So you really have to pay attention to the character, the descriptions, what they're doing, and you really need to know the difference between round and flat and static and dynamic.
Mommy.
Say hi.
Hi.
Mommy's teaching.
Hi.
So
Where's
characters.
someone?
Hold on, Mommy's gonna finish this. Characters cannot be dynamic and flat because in a flat character we don't know enough about them to recognize a change.
Yay.
So you're not going to have a dynamic and a flat character because without a lot of information we don't know that character actually went through any change. So you're not going to see dynamic and flat together. So let's look at some examples, okay? Ebenezer Scrooge, okay? Everyone knows who Ebenezer Scrooge is from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. He's the one that's, bah, humbug, I don't like Christmas, okay? So think about him. Is he dynamic or static? Did he go through a change or no?
And then, a spoon.
Okay, pick it up. Round or flat? Do we know a lot about him or do we not? Okay, go pick it up. Do we know a lot about him or do we not? So take a second and think about it. Is there change? Yes or no? And do we know a lot about him? Yes or no? Hopefully you said dynamic and round because he definitely goes through a change. He starts off as a grumpy old man who hates Christmas. And by the end of the novel, he is the definition of a Christmas lover, okay? and round because we know a lot about him. We see the ghost of Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future. So we learn a lot about his background, a lot about why he is the way he is. So he is dynamic and round. Let's try again. Robin from Batman. This is Batman's sidekick. I would hope everyone knows who Robin is. He is the one in the green and the orange, just in case. I think you all know. But think about it. Robin, is he dynamic or static, meaning does he go through change? And is he round or flat, meaning do we know a lot about him? Did the author go into detail? Take a second, think. Okay. Hopefully you said static and round, okay? We do not see a change in Robin. He is who he is the whole time, okay? But we do know quite a bit about Robin. We learn who he is. He joins Batman as a young man. Batman really helps shape him, and we get to experience Robin and his life, basically the whole series. So, what other stories can you think of that have round characters? What other characters are round? So, these are characters we know a lot about. Basically, any character that's a main character is mostly round, okay? We know a lot about them, okay? The author describes them fully. My favorite would be Katniss, okay? I think about Katniss, and she's definitely a round character, right? We learn so much about her through the trilogy, and we see how her life used to be, how it is in the present, and then eventually how it is in the future. So she's definitely a round character. Hopefully, you can think of a round character as well. What about flat characters? These are characters that we don't know that much information
Mommy,
about.
Here you go, Mommy, here you go.
Thank you.
Mommy! Mommy!
Characters we don't know that much information about. Paxton, stop. Okay, so hopefully you understand the difference between dynamic and static and round and flat. Take some time to talk to one another and talk about Freak, Kevin. Talk about Max. Maybe talk about Grim and Graham, Gwen. Talk about some of those main characters and discuss what type of characterization they are. Are they dynamic? Did we see change? Are they static, meaning that we really don't see change? Are they round because the author describes them very well, we know a lot about them? Or are they flat? We don't know that much about them. So discuss with each other, and hopefully this was beneficial. I miss you all, and I will see you soon. Okay? Bye.